Oh, sorry. Smoke them if you got them. Welcome to the Final Whistle, everybody. This is the show where we give you everything, all the Bama content, all the comedy, all the great X's and O's from the great all-star panel. You know how we do it. And let me start with the all-star panel. Mr. Shady Mile himself, Ty Hayes, how are you doing today, brother?
Really good. How could any of us be having a bad week on this of all weeks?
I know. Shouts out to Shady Mile in the building. And ladies, our coach, our DB, our Dan's biggest brother, whatever you want to call it.
Dan, I'm going to change my name to Dan's better looking brother.
Okay, Dan's better looking brother, Chris James. How are you, brother?
Only in his dreams.
What's up, fellas? I'm still coughing from that cigar smoke, from Saturday. And we finally get an off week to watch other teams beat up on each other. So I'm excited about this weekend of football to be able to be off and move up in the rankings, hopefully.
Yeah, we still got a few hater voters out there, but it's all good. And yes, our leading recruiting analyst, Final Whistle Dan. How are you doing today, sir?
Always good, brother.
That's good.
Bye week.
Yeah, we got to get our rest in. We're going to talk about bye week. And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Content Creator, Mr. Kick.com, Mr. Video Game Analyst, Gamer, everything, Coach Smug. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm just giving for a F to give about these volunteer fans that's been crying. I lost them last week when they, last year when they was doing all that celebrating. So, man, it feels good to be a Bama fan. It feels good to be here tonight. And I'm ready to get into it, man.
Yeah, I'm ready to get into it, too. So, Mr. Hayes, I'm going to give the floor to you. You'll be our point guard today. A little Steph Curry since the NBA season started,
Your very own Slotty Pippen live and direct. So I don't think that there's any better way for us to start than Bama versus Tennessee. I mean, look, this is a rivalry game. There is no way around it. And especially after the way Tennessee won that game last year. Alabama continually shooting themselves in the foot. Tennessee winning by a very thin margin. We knew that the Crimson Tide would want get back this year. And the way that they got it, it was sweet, especially after a rocky first half. But 27 unanswered. To hear all these Tennessee fans crying about the ref, I think there were a few bigger problems that will unveil for the Volunteers. One of them is allowing your opponent to go on a 27-point unanswered streak. But what do I know about football? Matt, I want to start with you. Let's talk Alabama-Tennessee. What was your thoughts from this game?
First, let me give the Puffs tissue to all the Vol fans for all their volunteers. Get it? You like that? So I'm answering your question. My biggest, thoughts about the game, just the way our team came out the second half. The first half, I think we were kind of still trying to figure some things out, but overall, I mean, the way the defense, the adjustments, the way the offense came out, the offensive line, I got to give them kudos. I mean, Caden Proctor got beat that one time, but majority of the time they stepped up. And I think for me, I'm going to be brief. I think this team is starting to get it. Tommy Rees still's got things to work on, still's kind of doing his thing, but I think these guys are coming together. And if you see Saban, I mean, he's enjoying it. So, all in all, I'm glad Bama won the victory. But like I said, I've been handing out too many Kleenex for all these volunteer fans out there. So that's my recap of Bama.
Far too many. Chris, what stood out to you?
What stood out to me was a tale of two halves. Just how the first half we were like, is this who we're gonna be? You had to ask yourself that. And then that second half after halftime, man, we look like a completely different team, kind of like that Kansas State game. Because the second half of that Kansas State game last year, or right before the halftime when we kind of took over. So it scares me, man, that we kind of wait so long to get started. And but overall, what I took from it was we grew up, man. We grew up. Our young guys grew up. Proctor, Caleb Downs, that secondary, that defense, man. Campbell, can't say enough about him. How he just elevated the D to another level, man. So. I just took a total performance in the second half. I mean, 27 unanswered against a team of Tennessee's caliber. That's That's the thing of beauty, man, to be able, to see something like that. So Saban still has something in the tank. He's top 10 going into the bye week. You couldn't ask for a better position before the season started.
He's got a lot left in the tank, and we have to remember Alabama won this game. This is a rivalry. We need to relish in the victory, but don't forget this was one of the best pass rush units in the nation the Tennessee Volunteers fielded. This Alabama offense overcame them, and that was a question a lot of people had. Coach, talk to me. We've talked a lot about this game, you and I. I really want to hear your opinion because I know you've rewatched the game. You're on mute.
You're muted.
I'm sorry.
An unfortunate start.
Look, right. First off, man, just to back what everybody's saying, man, to see this team grow up in this game, like it was like a gradual progression each series. Even though the first quarter was like probably a quarter you just want to throw away in the game. I felt like that was needed for this team to click, and we saw it happening even in the first drive in the second quarter that they had, and they didn't produce any points. That was a positive drive. The play calling there was good. Milroe, he was still happy feet, but he calmed down. Every drive, he just seemed to have a little bit more sense of control over that offense. All but one of the sacks was on him, and I think he knows that. He'll learn from those things. He learned in the game. Same type of pocket was presented on the first deep pass to Bonds, and he made the right adjustment by stepping up into that pocket and giving the wide receiver a lead on the release. So overall, I'm excited about this team. But this offensive line, man, hats off to this offensive line. This probably was the first game where they graded out for me a solid B+ A- area. And that's because when I saw one-on-ones, especially with Caden Proctor and JC Latham, those two guys really, they surprised me, and I was very proud of them for their overall performance for that game. And I'm just excited to see what this team is going to do for it, because like Matt said, I feel like it just clicked. And that's like that first drive of the second quarter just clicked, man. And I'm excited to see that. Dan, talk to me.
Yes, man. Like Chris said, a tale of two halves. The second half team, they showed characteristics of, knock on wood, a championship team. I love the resilience that the team showed, for us to come out and with a sense of urgency in the second half, and for us to stick around like we did. Our defense kept us in the game the first half, So I love the physicality of the defense. We continue to, do a good job. We did much better job in the second half of getting off the field on third down, but that was stood out with me mostly.
Yeah, when I watched this game, there were a few things to me that really stood out, and I want to highlight the second half. Because in the second half, we saw something that we on this show have been begging for all year, and that was more pre-snap motion. That pre-snap motion helped everything. Not only did we see more pre-snap motion, we saw some more read option concepts, getting Jalen Milroe out in space running the football, and we knew going into this game that the Tennessee rushing defense, they're stout, but there was a way to beat them, and that was to the outside. And theoretically, if you have a quarterback with Jalen Milroe's athleticism, you can capitalize on that, even if your rushing attack hasn't been as strong as you would have liked. But one of the things I think, guys, that really stood out to me is 1 second.
You good?
Yeah. I had a little lag spike on my end. One of the things that stood out to me, guys, is something Coach Smook talked about. And that is Tommy Rees's play calling. Because in the second half, I think Tommy Rees finally unlocked what he wants to do, where he wants to go. We've talked about this before. We've seen it in spurts. But we finally saw a whole half of really solid play calling. We're going to go the reverse order this time. Dan, we heard from you last time. We're going to start with you first this time. Talk to me about Tommy Rees's play calling and grade the script you saw from Rees.
I think with a quarterback like Milroe, you know what I'm saying, you have to kind of help him out. You know what I'm saying? You got to give him quick, easy throws. These slow developing plays, that I don't really think You know, that's in his best interest. You know, you got to give him quick, easy throws to the tight end, to the backs out the backfield. You know, to get him in the rhythm of the game. You know what I'm saying? It kind of taking him longer to get into the rhythm of the game. He can throw the deep ball. We always know that. That's going to come. You know, but we have to get him kind of involved in the game in a better way. But the script, man, you know, I give it a C.
I like it.
And now I've hit the mute. So Smook, we're 1-on-1 on that. Speaking of you, Coach, talk to me, because I know you were really excited about the second half script from Reese. So give me your overall grade on what he did, and then talk to me specifically about what you saw in that second half.
For that game, I'm right around the B- C+ area. For Tommy Reese, and we keep saying second half, but I really want y'all to go back and watch that game in detail. The first drive, if Jason McClellan keeps his head up, that's a first down. He had the first pass completion, 6 yards, the quick check down. It was like literally what y'all asking for, Dan. You say he wanted a quick pass. We get Jason McClellan out in the flats, get him for 6 yards. We rush for a yard with Milroe. Then McClellan gets the handoff and runs into the back of Booker on 3rd and 3. He gained 2 yards. If he doesn't run into the back of Booker, that's a first down. Tommy Reese play calling sets that up. But what I really liked was the pre-snap motion. In the second quarter on the second drive, when we drove down and scored, the pre-snap motion was the first thing that was like every linebacker, you could see it every play in the pre-snap motion. The inside linebackers, their heads are looking up, and anytime you could get that, that's when you know they're kind of second guessing the call. So that's when I figured I finally felt like Tommy Reese was starting to get a hang of. But then in the second half, the different areas he was sending the motion from, that's what I was liking with the same type of run design. That's all we've been asking for. So I gave him a solid C+, rimming around the B- area, rimming around. Pause. But go ahead.
That's just unfortunate. PJ Steins with the $9.99. Thank you so much, PJ, for the donation. What do you guys think about Milroe's peripheral vision? It seems like some of these nickel blitzes could be picked up if he didn't lock in on receivers immediately after the snap. Thoughts? Yeah, I'm going to let Chris, I'm going to let you speak to this question right here first, then we'll open it up to the panel.
Yeah, it seems like he kind of locks. It seems like sometimes he can lock in waiting for the deep ball, and that's why he takes some of those unnecessary sacks at times, because he knows that that's his money, those deep balls, and sometimes he can get kind of become glued on his deep routes, his deep progression and whatnot. And but from what I've seen from like week 1 to now, his peripheral has gotten much better. And I think like the more starts he get, it's going to be. But next year it should be really scary. You know, the quarterback he will become. But just to be able to see him sometimes get to his third read, you know, that's progression, man. You know, especially with the time that he has to throw the ball at times. So I just see it as a work in progress. But I'm pleased with the growth that he's shown as far as that is concerned so far.
Yeah, and I think one of the things to expand on what you said is comfortability. Just 2 games ago, weren't we all saying like, hey, you know, Milroe is automatic on the deep shots, but he needs to get into those checkdowns. And we've seen more and more him hit the checkdowns, him be willing to throw the ball away. I think a lot of it has to do with comfortability. Now, Chris, going back to you, what would you give Tommy Reese as a grade for this game?
From the first half, like to have 7 points, and I know it's not all on him, but to be down 20-7, I felt like we missed some opportunities. Like those screens didn't work weren't working, and I mean it wasn't necessarily his fault, but I just, because of the personnel, like some of those receivers I wouldn't have out there blocking. You know, if I'm running the screen, I'm going to make sure I have Kendra Law out there. And some of those other guys, those feisty guys blocking. But to answer your question, I'd give him a B- for the second half, because of the second half. Like the first half, if the first half would have been like a second half, it would have been an overwhelming A. Yeah. But because of the hiccups in the first half and how he picked it up, I give him a B- or a flat out B. because
Flat out.
flat out be the score that on that defense. You know what I'm saying? To be able to move the ball like we did, and because you have to remember, including myself, a lot of people didn't have us scoring 20. You know what I'm saying? In the score 34, even though one was a fumble return, that's still part of scoring. Scoring.
I had it 34-20, or I had it 30-20, 30-20.
30-20. Yeah. So for us to to break the 30 barrier on Tennessee, that's I give them a B.
DeRilo, go ahead, Coach. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If I can interject, I was gonna say hit the super chat because this is crazy that Diarella Arnold with the $5 super chat. Braswell's getting help mostly every play. Braswell's that dog. We're gonna jump on him in a minute when we switch to the defense side. But like Chris was saying, man, Chris, if you think about it, and you go back and watch the play, Burton couldn't get his left hand up, and he tried to one hand that catch. That's a play Burton usually makes, two-handed going up strong. Amazing catch. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't. The DB didn't have nothing to do with that. It just hit off his back shoulder.
That was the interception.
Yeah, that was one of those freakish plays, man. And so when stuff like that happens, I chalk that up to just that one off because we didn't. One thing about this team, we're not seeing this team get beat by the same thing in phases of the game. You get what I'm saying? That's first touchdown. We didn't see that type of coverage no more. We didn't see them, and we saw the explanation. So I think this team and the staff is really developing faster than we expected.
Yeah, because back in the past, we learned our lesson to stay in the same coverage the whole game, leave the middle of the field open, and don't cover wheel routes. That was our defense.
I got Pete Gold and PTSD.
Hey, that first touchdown, I saw Braswell running the wheel. I was like, what? I said, Pete's on the sideline.
Oh, my gosh.
In all fairness, Braswell was in good position.
He was.
Defensive end.
Yes.
Exactly. And then, but if you think about it, man, anytime, Chris, you play DB, anytime you get that type of look, I don't care where I am as a safety. There was no reason for the safeties to be checking mid for run anyways. Inside linebackers were inside.
Yeah, that was blown coverage.
And not only that, you knew Braswell was in coverage. So you knew at some point
you got to go over top.
Need some help. So yeah.
Even at that, it still took a perfect throw.
Yes.
Hey, man, that was a heck of a catch.
Yeah, heck of a throw, heck of a catch, and Braswell was right there. Now, Matt, talk to me about Reese, because it really was like Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. We had the ugly first half, and then we had this dominant second half.
Listen, Ty, I'm going to be honest with you. I think this is all by design. And people call me crazy. They're like, oh, the playbook's not opening up, and why we keep running the same plays. I think Coach Saban has been kind of keeping it kind of vanilla for like 6 or 7 weeks now. And I think he opened it up the second half, obviously, because we had to. We were down. We had to win this game. But I think he's the playbook is going to be super creative versus LSU. I think he's saving everything for this LSU game because obviously Tennessee game was a big game, but the LSU game is going to determine who's going to Atlanta, basically. So I think it's all by design. I think Tommy Rees, he had to show pre-snap motion. I think he's been dangling carrots all year. People didn't think we could throw leading up to A&M, and then we come out, boom, Milroe 300 yards. So I think it's all by design. So I think it's all going to come late to this LSU game. But my grade for Tommy Rees, I'm gonna actually give him like a B plus. Like I'll give him like an 87. Only reason I say that, if you look at the first half, some plays, we could have, done pre-snap motion, more QB runs, but outside of that, I feel like the touchdown to Burton, we were there. That deep ball to Burton that got picked in the end zone, I feel like if that connects, we're right there. So, but the way he came out the second half, he knew the adjustments that he needed to make. He was effective. So, listen, I think moving forward, you're going to see, especially this LSU game, because I think it's personal, even for him, Brian Kelly, Coach Saban. I think they're going to be in their lab this week, really, trying to throw this LSU defense off.
Well, one of the things that I told y'all weeks ago, I sent a message. Tommy Rees looks like he's better off of his opening script than his opening script. Like when he has to adjust, it actually seems like he finds the flow of a game through adjustments rather than being able to direct the flow of the game from the onset. And that's an interesting problem to have, right? Because I don't think you see that too much. I think far too often you'll see an offensive coordinator be dominant in their first 2 series and then the adjustments kill them. With Reese, it seems like finding the opening sequence is what he's struggling with. But once he starts dialing into what defenses want to do, he starts opening it up. I'm going to give him a B. Now, Chris, I want to jump to you before we jump into our next segment because you had something you wanted to add.
Yeah, no, I was just wanting to kind of pick fun at LSU a little bit. When Matt said that this may be for the West, I was like, hey, keep in mind, Ole Miss has that head up over LSU. Ole Miss is actually in second place right now. But not only that, LSU still has to play Florida and have to play A&M. 2 thorns in that side. So I'm not completely sold on LSU. You know, they may finish third in the West. Who knows? You know,
Yeah,
just that little.
Could
All
yeah.
four. All four.
I just think these 2 games, the Tennessee and LSU games, are been circled on our calendar because the way we lost to them last year, I think, in the words of Kool-Aid, that get back is a you know what. So we got part 1 versus Tennessee, so we're gonna work on getting versus LSU. Back to you, Dan. I mean Blaze. Sorry.
So I for this next segment, we need to call back to something PJ asked just a few minutes ago when he was asking about the peripheral of Milroe. And I think that's something he's really improved on. But let's talk about some things we still need to see. And I'll start us off this time because actually, I got to admit, I don't have a long list because he's improving, right? Like, yes, there's still things that need to be improved on, but I don't have a lot of complaints when week by week I see growth over and over again. He's not putting the team in positions to lose. To Coach Smook's point, that interception, we need to start classifying interceptions, guys.
I agree.
Because that wasn't on Milroe. That was a really good throw. It was just a bang bang play and it happened. What are you going to do? But when someone who didn't watch the game, they might read that and think, oh, there it is. That's not at all what happened. He hasn't been turnover prone. He's really solved that over the past few games. His decision making has been great. He's unbelievable on the deep shot. The only thing I need to see him fix is the things he's continually fixing week by week. Be quicker through your progressions, which he is getting quicker. Understand that it's fine to throw the ball away sometimes. Sometimes that's the best result. And then your checkdowns. You have great running backs. They are great in space, and they are great in the passing game. So I don't have a whole lot to complain about, guys, because I think we're seeing him improve week by week. And the only thing I'd like is to see that improvement continue. We're going to go around this table, so allow me to direct. Smook, you first.
I'm more of a guy that's I'm really Miro's doing exactly what I expected. The clock to me just needs to speed up. That's it. That's the only thing. The clock to use his legs, the clock to step up. I mean, the protection is getting better for him. So I mean, and to see this offensive line finally get their legs up under him, I think he's starting to become a little too comfortable in that pocket. He's seeing things develop, and instead of throwing passes open or throwing some concepts open, he's waiting for them to open up. I want to see him improving that. But overall, I think every challenge that Miro's been given, as far as being a quarterback this year, he stepped up to the plate every week at some phase of the game. You know, 1 week he wasn't using his legs. Going against Ole Miss, that's part of the success in the game, the run game, him in the run game. Then they say the passing game was going to be a problem. Like Matt said, A&M 300 plus. Then you come right behind it and play a balance game against Mississippi State, I think it was. And even though Arkansas was a close game, that game was still balanced for him. You know, he took unnecessary sacks then, but if anything, that clock needs to speed up. So I think that's an easy fix. That's film work. That's literally Milroe. You can speed up a little bit now. You're seeing it better. Trust it. You get what I'm saying? So that's the only thing for me.
Chris, what would you like to see Milroe fix?
No, 2 things. His timing, like Smoot said, being able to his awareness, knowing that on the backside, when the pocket starts clapping down. I promise you, I guess we've been spoiled by Tua, how quick he got it out. about Mac Jones. I swear Mac had eyes in the back of his head. Like it was crazy how he just felt pressure and how he navigated.
Mac Jones gritty.
Huh?
I said Mac Jones with his gritty on Sunday.
Yes. Mac with his gritty. And the other thing is those intermediate crossing routes, I would like to see him stick somebody. He's throwing them high, especially going from right to left. He's throwing them high. If you can hit those guys right there in stride, that deep crosser, hit those in stride, Burton and those guys and Nye Black. Oh my goodness, how much more of that offense there to unlock if he can connect on those. Yeah. So those are the only two things.
Yeah, Tua had the best timing in an RPO system I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, like that stuff was different, man. It was
as soon as the receiver planted their feet, the ball was coming out. I mean, it was spectacular. Matt, what does Milroe need to fix?
Just like everybody, I still want to see him get better in the pocket awareness. Just kind of have a better feel for that pocket, but I think he's, he probably got a little PTSD, not wanting to turn the ball over, get careless, because it's been such inconsistency from, Proctor. And I think it's all, going to continue to get better. But I'm glad to see him run. I still kind of want him, it's a couple plays where I'm like, hey, because Tommy Reese calling such slow developing routes at time, that running lane, you see the replay, is like right there. Sometimes I want him to go Lamar Jackson and take that thing off. But I think that's all coming. I think he's continuing to develop, continue to just, hone in on his accuracy. I think it was 3 passes in the second half to Burton that I think he wished he would have had back that really would have, we could have really put it like up a 40 burger on Tennessee that he kind of missed. But, I think, what I want him to work on is continue to work with Tommy Reese. Look at things that they could do, whether it's what, the Baltimore Ravens are doing, what Tommy Reese continue to, I think it goes hand in hand, making sure they're on the same page, get quick passes going. That way he can get get a better rhythm, continue to working on his accuracy. I think his deep ball accuracy is amazing. It's really good. So, I mean, the touchdown to Burton, he fit in the tight window. So just, continue to develop pocket awareness, timing. Whenever you see the running alley, kind of take off, and, just continue to work with Tommy Reese, and Tommy Reese kind of set him up with more quick passes, quick passing games to kind of get him going. So that's kind of my thing right there.
You have to wonder how much the offensive line struggling early has contributed to maybe him bailing out of a pocket maybe before he should, because let's be honest, that offensive line early did struggle. Yeah. Dan the man.
Yeah.
What does Milroe need to fix?
It's funny we're saying this, but I was looking at it today. Guess who's the number 6 rated quarterback in the country?
Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
And he ranked higher than Caleb Williams, which is
right. That's just the standard we've set at Alabama at the quarterback position. But a couple of things, number one that I think, he definitely needs to work on, he needs to speed up his clock. Number 2 is like Chris said, the intermediate routes, the crossing routes and the out routes, he has to become consistent with that. The third thing, I don't think is going to happen this year, unfortunately, but I think next year we will see it. And that's his ability to read the defense pre-snap. Mm-hmm. So that's going to take a lot of time with Coach Reese and a lot of film study. So he doesn't have a lot of time for that during the season. So,
sorry, my bad, Dan. Continue.
But those 3 things, definitely what I hope next year we'll see a much more mature. And I want to see him able to move protection next year. Checking the runs or checking the different passes. I want to see him develop. As far as that part of his game.
Go ahead, Matt.
Y'all keep saying next year. I'm like, y'all don't think he has the opportunity to go to
that's what I.
No, he's not ready yet. He needs another year.
Look, Chris. If Anthony Richardson can do it,
well, look, we're going to try to send a finished product.
Okay, I'm just, I was just curious.
Anthony Richardson throw a football over that mountain there.
Hey, it's what this is a different day and age, y'all. That's what a lot of Bama fans and traditional Bama. This is a different day and age. But we'll get into that later. I wanted to say something about the fact that Milroe, this intermediate passing. Do y'all notice that when he's on the move, that intermediate passing is lethal? We had, I think, 2 plays where it was designed move the pocket, roll out where he's moving.
It's on Tommy Reese. Tommy Reese they got to get on the same page.
Exactly. Every time. And then also, I want to highlight the sack that he took on the corner blitz. That was his first time trying to slide protection. I don't know if y'all noticed that. He slid protection right. If you look at Caden Proctor, he immediately looked inside second level. Knee Black's supposed to check that edge before he dip out. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, I feel like it's starting to develop. If it clicks against LSU, we could see that draft stock start. We could start hearing that draft talk.
Speaking of this, and before we talk about the LSU, this is eerily setting up. This is reminding me of Fournette. You know how Fournette had all the Heisman hype going into the LSU game?
Yeah.
And Derrick Henry took the Heisman from him. I think this could set up for maybe Milroe might not take the Heisman, but he can turn a lot of heads out if he plays, kind of take some of the shine, because everybody's going to be talking about Jaden Daniels, and I feel like he's going to come in there motivated to really show what he can do. That's just my thoughts leading in my week. So,
Chris, do you have something? Nope. All right. Well, one of the things that hold
on 1 second. Todd, don't mean to interrupt. I'm just came from corporate office, and we have film of Chris falling asleep on camera again. You are fined $25, Chris James.
Ain't nobody sleep, dude. I'm still haven't even showered from practice yet.
Okay,
dude.
that's another $25 to talking back to the CEO, real quick. But before I go back,
the
CEO of EPO,
and that's another $25 for continuing to back talk. Real quick, y'all have named some great things about Milroe. But one of the things I want to look at is his ability to make better decisions in terms of the zone read. There have been plenty of opportunities where
that's true.
Well, even in this past game, where if he pulls it and takes it, he's gone for nothing but green, possibly end zone.
Yep.
And other times he gives it to the back, and the back gets buried in the backfield. First half, instead of giving it to Roy Dell, when Roy Dell could have been gone, y'all.
Right.
He pulls it. And 7-yard loss.
Yeah.
Second half, he gives it to Roy Dell. Roy Dell gets buried, but if you look to the side just a little bit, nothing but green around the corner there. And the second thing he needs to work on, guys, no one said it, the helmet hair. Come on.
Hey, them good juices. This are good juices, Justice. Leave that man alone, bro.
The juices and berries, dog. The juices and berries.
Hey. But Justin did highlight something, y'all, with that being able to be more fluid in that read option. Now, one thing I do see defenses keying on, he's going to have to fix that against LSU, is when he has that 6-man walk up, he gets mixed up with inline man. What I said it backwards. In the line of scrimmage, in-man line of scrimmage. Yeah. So,
yeah.
So yeah, that's big. I like that. I like that.
Slide his protection over.
Yep.
He needs the
$25 raise for Smook for agreeing with me.
That's business, baby. That's business.
Inflation is a mother.
Well, you done lost that 25.
That's another 25.
No. Because he got that promotion. He gets to slide on that one. You see, that's the beauty of promotions, Chris. That's why we got it.
This is shot from Shady Mile, man.
Yeah.
It's just business. What is it? But I'll tell you one of the conversations, guys, nobody's having. But that's why we're going to have it right here. That's the beautiful thing about this show, and that's why you should come here. We need to talk about what this team may have meant for Nick Saban. Because in life, sometimes whenever you're at the top, it can get stagnant until a new challenge arises. And we know Saban is the best psychologist in college football. It's one of the things that has separated him from so many other great coaches. The question is, though, have the challenges of this team rejuvenated Saban? We're going to go straight down the line, starting with Matt. Matt, do you think Saban's been rejuvenated from this year?
I agree. I actually think he has, especially you look at him, his press conference after the game, he talks about, this team, they might take a few years off his, life or whatnot, but he loves it. Like, I think he enjoys the challenge. I think for him, the biggest challenges were getting rid of, Bill O'Brien and Pete Golden, where he can now he's got Kevin Steele and Tommy Rees. Now he can really enjoy the challenges of, being that psychological guy. And I think, we got to give credit. She needs a statue. Miss Terry has really, I don't know what she's done, but she has helped in the rejuvenation. And I think, just how joyful he was, the CBS interview, he got the cigar, and, he went and raved to the crowd. I mean, he hadn't done that in years. So I think for Coach Saban, having this team come along, having the addition of Reese and Steele and the team kind of coming together and not being perfect yet, but and beating Tennessee the way they did, I think this has rejuvenated Coach Saban. So, he's going to get a 25-year contract extension from Greg Byrne. So, yeah, I agree.
Did y'all see him jumping up to slap the side
Yep,
before
the game? That's lit, man.
My man got bunnies.
He's got bunnies.
He's still got it.
Billy Doyle.
Chris.
Yeah, like, have you? I'm pretty sure all of you guys have played NCAA, had a dynasty, and what's more rewarding is like when you take a program that's like this, like a tough challenge. You take and when you win a championship, you're like, and it feels like Saban. Really, this team is like a team that was doubted from the beginning, and everybody had us at 4-3 at this point. No. I'm sorry, 5-3 at this point. You know what I'm saying? You remember before the season? Oh, I can see Bama losing 5-6 games this year, or I can see Bama losing 4 games, or yada yada yada. We're 7-1, and to be in this, and I believe that if we were to play Texas again, it'll be a different outcome.
Stop watching.
You know what I'm saying? So, with the way this defense is playing, man, like we stand a chance every week, and with the way the offense comes along now, if this offense continues to click, man. December is gonna get ugly. November, then that matchup in Atlanta in December is gonna be really ugly. So I believe that Coach Saban knows that, and he sees that he still has it, man. Because like I said, how we came out that second half, whatever speech he gave at halftime, man.
You heard what it was, didn't you?
What?
He said they're not gonna smoke on our field.
Right.
Yeah,
who wouldn't run through a wall after hearing that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who wouldn't run through a wall? They're not gonna smoke on our field. Yeah, goddamn, gonna show not about to smoke on our field. He's ready to suit up. I'm 41. Let's go, man. It's off week, and I'm crunk.
Yeah,
we might be able to find a year or two left of eligibility out there. We might be able to make a little something happen.
Hey. Woo! Hold on a second, Chris. Did you just pull the Mike Gundy? I'm a man. I'm 40. That's $25, Chris.
Yeah, he might end up getting fined again. That's just unfortunate. You hate to see it.
I'm an old man. I'm 41.
Hey, I can send you the mullet, Chris, if you'd like.
The mullet for sure.
The gullet.
He can't grow his own.
Yeah. Man, you crazy. I look like that hater off of Billy. With the I don't like that eating a banana with the little.
Look like Samuel Jackson in that one movie.
Look, how he was eating that mud, he had to that like that, Chris.
I don't like that. I'm gonna drop a dime.
Smoot, has this season rejuvenated Saban?
Man, no question, man. It's one of them things, man. Show me, and I tweeted this after the game and after all the videos started coming out. Man.
Look at Jamel Laws.
What did he say?
Look at his comment. Nick got that honey pack.
Oh, hey, that what happened. He went to the corner store. I was just about to say.
Rhino. He got that Rhino.
Yeah, that Rhino X60 for the BP.
Oh, man.
Hey, but nah. I mean, anytime you got a 72-year-old man that can stand up for 3.5, 4 hours, call a game, jump around, be fiery, fuss at guys, cuss coaches out, pick players up, you know, I mean, Saban with he thought Trey Amos was gonna have that pick before the strip sack. He was like, you know, he was like,
That new
jump it. You know, you can see him on the side like jump it, and he's animated. So, and then after the game to do like 85 to almost 90 yards worth of jogging, he was headed towards the tunnel. Went to the crowd, then came back. He said, "Chris James, gonna let get out. Come on, bro.
Man.
Why do we do this? And it's
man.
But look, man. But I think the fact that we see this type of energy from Saban, he's had, like we all been saying it all season, man. He's had the talent in past seasons. He's had the best quarterback in college football at the time. You know, like he's had all the tools, but we saw him with this calm demeanor, and like that's what's been our question. Where's old Coach Saban? Where's the mean Coach Saban? This team ain't playing the Coach Saban standards. But I really think it's credit to Kevin Steele and Tommy Rees bringing a new energy as a young coach. Kevin Steele giving him that confidence on the defensive side that he can handle things with that experienced staff that Kevin Steele has to work with on and off the field. You guys like Charlie Strong in your organization, Wise and Hunt's there. I mean, just football minds, man. Zach Mettenberger's in there helping the offensive side. It's things that's happening in that program that we don't get to see when it's on the field. But if you pay attention to the sideline, you could figure out the story in that locker room, and it's a good thing happening in that locker room. And Saban is definitely rejuvenated by it.
Dan, I pass it to you.
Yes, man. It's a lot of things. The challenges, not just this team, but the challenges of the current climate of football. You got the NIL, the transfer portal. It's creating challenges. So it's a lot of opportunity. You got revenge factor. So it's a lot of things that kind of rejuvenated him, as well as the fan base. You know what I'm saying? Now I kind of feel like, okay, we're the hunter again.
Yeah,
that's right where we want to be.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And so yeah, definitely. I think the challenge is definitely rejuvenated Coach Saban. And bringing in Coach Kevin Steele has been tremendous. So okay, we got a super chat from Ethan David. Name these teams' first loss: Washington, Georgia, Oklahoma. Ooh,
Chris,
hold on. Georgia's first loss is coming within these next 4 weeks. I'm not sure because I've heard some people say this weekend against Florida.
Listen, I'm thinking maybe in Jacksonville, maybe. Possibly.
Some people are thinking Jacksonville. Some people are thinking Missouri. You see how Missouri next weekend?
I don't know about Missouri.
Missouri, that's gonna be tough, man. Because Missouri had them on the ropes last year with a way worse team and a better Georgia team. Some people are thinking Ole Miss.
I can see that.
And last year, I had them losing in Knoxville. I expect this Tennessee team to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
So one of those four, I expect them to drop. If Georgia runs like the gauntlet with these next 4 games, man, Kirby got the juice, man. It's like he already has the glow, but he'll have that last dragon glow. If he win these 4, man, it's crazy because it is very challenging.
Chris, you got to pick one though. Pick one right now for Georgia.
Lose to Bama.
Pick one
in Atlanta.
Pick one, Chris, on the regular schedule. Come on, right now. 5.
He can't do it.
You got to, man.
I can't do it, man. I'm gonna just be safe. I'm gonna be safe to say Georgia, Alabama, and Atlanta.
Take it.
Alabama and Atlanta. For Oklahoma, it's gonna be K-State. And for Washington, I don't know, man. Washington might not lose, dog. If it's Washington, I'm gonna say Pac-12 championship.
Who going next?
So for Georgia, for me, I think that Missouri will test them. I don't know that this Tennessee team is going to be able to move the needle against Georgia. I still think that absent, Brock Bowers, they still have enough for Tennessee. Ole Miss and Missouri are interesting. I think they are both tests to Georgia. Ultimately, I think Georgia's first and only loss of the season comes to Alabama, granting Alabama entrance into the college football playoffs in the SEC championship game. For Oklahoma, that Texas game is interesting if they rematch in the Big 12 championship. If Quinn Ewers isn't back healthy, though, as much as I love Malik Murphy, Oklahoma might be able to run the table. I don't know that I trust K-State this year, and Oklahoma's offense has been pretty darn good this year as well.
But they don't play K-State. They play K-State. It'll be Big 12 championship. They don't play K-State. But what I'm saying is, you got to remember Quinn Ewers is out.
Yeah, but I mean, Malik is very talented, and I don't know how long Ewers is going to be out, and it might not be out long enough.
They say like 4 weeks.
Was it 4 weeks?
Yeah, but not only that, though, they go to Kansas this week. So Kansas,
Kansas is tricky.
Tricky. There you go, Smoot.
And I think Oregon might get it back against Washington in the Pac-12 championship game. Washington has won the last 2 of those games, both of them coming by very thin margins. I think it's hard to three-peat against a team whenever you're losing by margins of, or winning or losing by margins of less than 7 points. I think it's very hard to go 3-0. So that's my 3.
And Washington has a tricky game on November 18th at Oregon State. Circle that
True,
one.
very true. DJ is very good.
Stop taking my takes, Chris. Okay, I'm looking at this schedule, right?
Go ahead.
And I'm looking at this Washington schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think Utah might be the defense. I think Utah might be the defense that actually can get them off schedule. And Utah has proven to be a sporadic offense.
Kyle Whittingham is a really good coach. Yeah.
Yes.
Arizona State got them off schedule.
Yes.
If they would have had any type of offense.
Yeah,
any type, bro. So I'm a betting man. I'm not gonna play around with the picks. I'm picking Utah. I'm putting my money on Utah for the Washington upset. Okay. For Oklahoma, I'm gonna go ahead and dog it and stick with my original mindset and go with the Oklahoma and Oklahoma State game. I feel like Oklahoma, yeah. And all the reason is because Oklahoma State can put up 60 on you, and it's like a out of nowhere 60 right now. So I like Oklahoma State to make that a rivalry game. And if you want to see a quarterback get rattled, put them in a rivalry game and have the lesser rival, show up, the underdog show up. That's how you get them rattled. And then Georgia, man, this is the one that I was kind of struggling up, but I'm a bet on it. And I'm going to say, I think, man, I'm stuck now. I want to go with the upset. I'm gonna do it just because I don't care. I hate both of them. So I see Florida because Graham Mertz is emerging. This offense is starting to become a little bit more, not extravagant, but they're becoming more consistent in what they can do, and they're gelling together. Like Chris was, giving me the defensive call right there. But yeah, I think Florida could do it, but. If I had to put my money on it, I think Missouri is the one that tests them and slips by and upsets them. Ole Miss can have a chance, but I'm counting on Lane Kiffin in those big games.
If they lose to Missouri's
going to Atlanta.
Yeah, Missouri would play for the SEC championship game. But before we get to that point, we need to talk about the status quo. Right. Mm-hmm. We've talked about the past. Before we can talk about the future, we need to talk about the now. We need to give midseason grades because this Alabama team has grown a lot. So what I want to do is I want to go around this table, see what I did there. And then I want to talk to all of you. And I want you to give me a unit, a player, someone to highlight and give a grade that you like. Matt, I'm going to start with you.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with I'm an offensive guy. I'm gonna go with the receivers. I'm gonna give them a grade of I'm gonna give them a B+. I think the receivers, they're doing their thing. Bond, Burton. I'm waiting to see, Benson, he had a big catch, so I think he's coming along. Kobe Prentice is coming, so I'm gonna give them guys a B+. I think they're rocking and rolling, very close, like an 89, 88. That's what I'm giving my grades for the receivers.
There you go. Not my. You don't think they can give the A?
They can, but I'm just saying, I think that's gonna come with more. The more Milroe progresses, you're gonna see a lot more consistency with the receivers. I mean, even more so than me. I think we got the good rotation. I was just glad to see Benson get going because I think that's going to be key for us moving forward.
Ty, can I converse with my fellow wide receiver real quick before we let him submit his final grade? Matt, they only get like 15, 16 chances a game, bro, and they only have 6 drops this whole season, and 4 of them are contested. So
I'm rolling with them. They the 89. That's pretty good. We got
89.7.
6 more games. Yeah. Listen, they're doing amazing. We're not having any drops. Like, I think we're starting to find the right guys. I don't think Brooks is kind of in the rotation. I think it's Prentice, Benson, Burton, Bond. Who else? Kendrick Law. I think he's going to get going in a lot of jet sweeps, things like that. So yeah, I give him a good. I just think the more the playbook continues to get creative, the more consistent Milroe and Reese they're going to get to that A+ level. One of the top units in the country. That's all I'm saying.
Tough crowd. Chris, talk to me. Midseason grades.
You're mute.
You going?
No, I was gonna let him go as long as
I was gonna start nodding and everything. Oh man, you messed it up, man.
Since I'm a secondary guy, I'm not gonna go with the secondary because I always do that.
Come on, man, you got to do the secondary. They want it, man.
I want to do those middle linebackers, that linebacker room, man. Like,
just gonna take the defensive line from Dan.
We haven't had that type of that level of inside linebacker play since before Matt Wilson graduated. I'm thinking,
far as a 1-2 punch, I don't disagree.
I'm thinking the last group that we had was the combination of was it Sean Dion Hamilton and Rashawn Evans?
No,
Matt Wilson.
It was Mac Wilson and Rashawn. I mean Mac Wilson and Sean Dion Hamilton.
Evans was like the Campbell for that group.
It's past that level. It's past that level. I'm gonna say before then. I'm gonna go with Evans and Ragland.
All right.
It wasn't even Ragland. Who was after Ragland? Was it Ruben after Ragland?
Yeah, it was Ruben and Ragland.
I ain't ready to get about Ruben Foster status yet.
Yeah,
but
it was Evans and Sean Dion Hamilton.
When Evans and Sean Dion Hamilton, that group right there. Yeah, Evans and Sean Dion Hamilton. I give the inside back room an A.
Adam Lamparello with
there. I come back.
Okay. Adam Lamparello with the 10. He says the offense gets a B- and will become quite good. Burton better control his temper. The secondary worries me. In several games, they have given up big plays. Here's what I will say, Adam. I think Burton has actually been playing with emotion as opposed to playing emotional. And understand there is a key distinction to be had here. Playing with emotion is infectious. It's one of the reasons why I thought Jamison Williams was such a brilliant addition to the team a few years ago, because his energy was infectious.
He used to talk so much.
Great point, Ty.
And I think that's what we're seeing out of Burton. I don't mind the talk during the game because I think he's playing with emotion, and I think that emotion is infectious.
Yeah.
So I don't mind anything I've seen from Burton this year. In fact, I think he's been a major catalyst for this team. But with that in mind, Smook, I want to go to you. Get your midseason grades as well.
Okay. I'm gonna take it to the offensive line because I know Dan wants the D line, right, Dan? I know my bro. Can I combine D line and QB development together?
You do O line and QB.
O-line.
Oh yeah, O line and QB. My fault. O line and QB together. I'm sorry, but O line and QB together. I want to give them. I'm gonna give them a solid B because of where they started and where they ended this last game. And you don't see progression. And me and Ty was talking about this on another show. You don't see that type of progression from a quarterback that comes in like that green, with all all those questions. Jalen Milroe has answered questions every week. Caden Proctor, I feel like it finally clicked for him. He was more decisive with how he was attacking in the run game. He was very decisive and very solid in the pass pro. And then Jaden Roberts being inserted into that offensive line just brought another level of attack, aggression. Maybe not. I mean, he's not he's not the strongest out there on the O-line, but his intensity, his aggression is different. And I believe it sets the tone and it allows guys like Booker and Latham to be monsters too. And McLaughlin now he can calm down, and we're seeing the snaps clean up. So we get those snaps all the way clean, and we start off aggressive and attacking early in the trenches with the offensive line, and Milroe using his legs to help that offensive line. This team will have, like we said, with all of this team from the jump, this team can be a national championship, like not shoe in, but like a clear cut championship contender if we clean that up. And I believe we can do it this game, just like we saw leaps and bounds against Tennessee. We can see the same against LSU.
I 100% agree. Dan, we already know which unit you're going to talk about, so talk to us.
Yes. You know, my group is the D-line. And I'm going to go with, you know, they've been playing at a very high level all season, been consistent every game. That's one group that showed up every single game this year. They outplayed the much more heralded Texas A&M D-line. And I'm going to give them a B+. The reason I'm not giving them an A, I want to see more interior pass. You know what I'm saying? You know, we're getting good pressure up the middle. We're collapsing the pocket. But I'd like to see more interior pass rush from one of our down linemen.
I hear you. The defensive line has been huge the way it's shown up, and especially Tim Keenan's emergence. I think we've talked about this time and time again. Otis being able to go out to D end has allowed for so much flexibility with this defensive line. I guess for me, I'll take secondary, and then Chris, if you disagree, I'll pass it to you afterwards, right? I'm going to give the secondary a B+, and here's why. I think because we've seen some miscues, but I don't think we've seen them just get beat.
Yeah.
Right. And the only reason I say B+ is because as high as I am on Caleb Downs, he had his early freshman moments. He is playing at an unbelievable level. I think if you ask me this question in a week, 2 weeks, it'd be an A-, A-, A+. So I'm going to go B+ for the secondary. Chris, do you agree, disagree?
I'm with you, brother. You hit that on the head. I want to interject. I want to get your 3, Dan, your 3 losses. Because I was interested to hear who you thought that Washington, Oklahoma, and Georgia first loss would be.
Like Washington, I don't know. I think it's gonna come in the playoffs for Washington.
Okay.
Georgia,
Bama.
Yeah. And who was the other one? It was Oklahoma.
Texas.
Thank you, Matt.
I don't see all 3 of them going undefeated.
That's what I'm saying.
Season.
I don't.
Question.
Football, man. Somebody gonna trip up.
Listen to the chat right here.
I got a question for Chris. Back to the secondary. If you could change one thing about the secondary, what would it be?
Chris, alley-oop, please.
Okay, thank you, Matt. I would put Amos at the outside corner along with Kool-Aid, and I would slide Terry Arnold to the start, and I would leave Malachi Moore and Caleb Downs as the high safeties. And nickel, and then even if you can even change it up, even if you want to leave Terry on the outside, or if Terry isn't good to go, LSU, Earl Little.
No, he's good. He was practicing full practice today.
Okay, so even that, or you can leave Terry if you want to. It boils down to Amos and Earl Little for me. So if you rather leave Arnold on the outside against Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, you know what I'm saying, and slide Earl Little into the slot, against Kyron Lacey. It's all about matches because they like to line Malik Neighbors up all over the field.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's why I would rather. I would like our 3 best cover guys. It's going to have to be them. So I'm not sure if it's Amos or if it's Earl Little. Earl Little's upside's through the roof. He has like potential first round type ability.
Yeah.
But Amos is right now. Like we said, if he'd have came out in last year's draft, he'd have been a day two guy. So and you saw Tennessee, you didn't notice that he was on the field because he locked things up. When Arnold got hurt at halftime, didn't give up nothing. Maybe one little catch or whatever it was, but so it don't matter, man. Just get one of those 2 on the field and slide Malachi out that slot because I think he struggles with faster guys. He's great against tight ends and running backs out the backfield, but I think he struggles with those speed guys. So I would keep him high to kind of help navigate the back end with Caleb Downs.
Before we get to our OnlyFans, I want to hit this super chat real fast. Adam Lamparello again with the $10. He says, guys, this is Saban's best coaching job ever. He has adapted to this team, shown patience, and is bringing out the best in his players. He is an incredible teacher and coach. Dan, I'm going to pass this to you. What do you think?
Ooh, I would tend to agree. You know, it's still, you know, we're going to reserve the grade for Coach Saban on this season so far. But to this point, you know, you can make an argument this is his best coaching job to date. You know, and out of his 17 years.
I agree.
You know,
if he wins the Natty this year, I mean,
it definitely will be.
He's the GOAT.
We have to build another statue.
Yeah, Miss Terry, I'm off of Miss Terry's statue.
Definitely.
Well, gentlemen, we have reached that faded point in the show, the closing point, the point where even Shady Miles has to turn a blind eye because even it can't help you here. This is where we say our closing thoughts and let you know where you can find us through the week. And this week is a bye week. So I'm sure all of us here, the Final Whistle, will be working extra hard on our extracurricular activities this weekend. Oh, you already know.
Extra hard.
Extra intentional as well. Who wants to start this evening?
I'll go.
Go for it.
Because I don't have one, but y'all know y'all can find me at Coach Smook on every platform. We won't be having a revamp pregame because we're undefeated against the bye week. No need to practice and see how that goes. You all know how that goes. We win those. So, but yeah, this weekend we will be doing some content. If you want to join some game day chats, I will be posting the links throughout the week on all my socials. Jump in the Discord. We're going to watch some football this weekend on stream, react to games, talk football. Just an open community type thing. It'll be moderated by some of our team. So pull up on that. You pull up on the social medias and you can see that. But in honor of bye week, we're gonna just, you know, kick back. This weekend OnlyFans, we're not necessarily kicking back. We're kind of just ramping it up, but we're kind of just, you know, we're gonna ramp it up in a way where it's not going to be strenuous, you know. And so for this week only, just because we don't want to hurt nothing, but we still want to handle business. We want to get in there and get the film. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get access to my OnlyFans content this week, the promo code is going to be Lay It Down 47. You can get me at Lay It Down. That'll get you your 10% discount. And yeah, give me my theme. Give me my theme. But yeah, that's how you can find your boy. Much love, everybody. Roll Tide.
Lay it down.
I'll go next.
Go next.
So, you know, we beat Tennessee. So the theme for my OnlyFans is 10 inches and C and promo code getting Rocky Top. And I got a new OnlyFans with Jim Harbaugh calling Sneak Peek, where you can spy and get as much X-rated film as possible.
We lost.
Well, that's just unfortunate. That's just unfortunate. Who's next? Who's next?
I'm still trying to come up with one. I was unprepared.
He was unprepared.
Chris, go ahead.
He jumped into the bye week too early. Pre-coming to the bye week.
How week. Let me see. Yeah. I don't know. Bye week. I guess I'll be sleeping. You know, you catch me, you know, on Twitter, Final Whistle Dan. You know, right here every week, same bat time, same bat channel. You know, so OnlyFans this week, I'm gonna be sleeping on my own OnlyFans. So I guess you can catch me. You know, Nip Van Winkle promo code Donkey Kong 23. What's up, Mario? On to you, Mario.
Drop the mic.
Good job, Luigi. You can find me on Facebook at Chris K. James Sr.
It's the spicy meatballs.
Chris K. James Sr., man.
Y'all.
On Facebook, Coach Chris James on Twitter, CKJ Senior 32 on Instagram, and with it being LSU, we do 2 weeks for LSU, right? So
Yeah.
Over there.
huh? Heard it, pull the side of nerve. So this week is my promo code is I love Tiger Stripes.
Stretch marks.
Scratch marks with a K. SK. For Chris K. James.
Show me the Tiger Stripes, baby.
Well, guys, we've come to the fated point where I have a little bit of a treat. Over the past 2 weeks, we've been stuck in ferocious negotiations with Lithuania, and thankfully, boys, those negotiations
Blaze Hayes.
and Blaze Hayes has made an appearance for the last few minutes. Now I got to get some things off my chest real fast, and I'm not going to take much of you good folks' time, but when you're dealing with the Lithuanian embassy, believe you me, I've got a few things to say. And they all revolve around Tennessee. You know how good it was to get home and to see Alabama take Tennessee to the woodshed? You know how long I've waited? It's been 365 days and no more. Tennessee thought that they were going to run the SEC. They thought the tides had turned. But just like this game, they blew their load too early. So that's why this week, in honor of the Tennessee Volunteers, you can find none other than Blaze Hayes on premature infatuation, blowing your load. The Tennessee Volunteers story will be down, dirty, however you like it. The mullet, the gullet, going in a blaze of glory. What can I say? Boys, back to you.
I love it. The mullet and the hair flick gets me.
Did y'all hear the background music for him?
I love it. Blaze.
My goodness.
Give me one of these, Blaze. Give me one of these, Blaze. Give me one of those.
Hold on. Damn, Lithuanian embassy took out my headphones.
There it is.
There that is. Get him with the shoulders.
You know he got a chested V.
All the way
Hey,
down
Matt.
to his
Hey,
ball,
Matt.
bro.
Hey, Matt.
You remember on Step Bros? He was like,
Yeah.
she had the old bull. Now she wants the young calf.
Now she wants the young cow.
And you can see it all on OnlyFans.
Oh man,
He posts at an apology, the Josh Heupel story.
Oh my god. Oh man.
Ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
epic, man. That's epic. Oh
That's
my
going to
god.
do it for us.
Oh,
Hopefully Blaze Hayes stays out of Lithuanian hands, but
my eyes are burning.
no guarantees. We'll
don't
see
get
you
our
next
show
time.
tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Don't forget to my fault, y'all. Oh man. Don't forget tomorrow I'm gonna be on with the queen of the Alabama football content when it comes to reporting and giving educated perspectives, good insight, and just perspectives all over this Alabama football. CC Payne, the queen, the princess, whatever you want to call her for this Alabama football. I'll be a guest on her show again tomorrow. We'll be duking it out. We got some beef this week. I don't know if y'all heard, me and sis got a little brotherly, sisterly beef because we had a few bets with numbers and stuff, and I was close, but she don't want to admit it. So tune in tomorrow so y'all can see that unfold. And yeah, I'll be happy to see y'all there, man.
Always a good time, and especially if y'all are talking about that low down, no good, dirty orange team that we just happened to beat. Until next time, we'll be talking about LSU. That's our show, folks. That's it.
Roll Tide.